In our discussion, when I talk about this and I put this together, energy and stress, these are two pieces of the health puzzle, both of which are highly important and critical for overall health. Today we'll talk about the energy portion of that. Now, let me ask you, what do most adults want more of? Hands up. What would you say?
Energy.
Energy, yes. That's coming. You read my notes. Anything else?
Money.
Money, right?
Right,
Definitely.
yeah.
I'm certainly one adult that would like more money. Time, sure, absolutely. Time to spend with family and friends, to do things of an enjoyable nature. Now that it's summertime, people are taking vacations. The time that you have from your jobs, or if you're retired, just the time to get away and the finances to get you there. As my friend just said, health. Because you've got time and you've got money, but if you don't have your health to enjoy it, then really it's all for naught, right? Health internally, physically, emotionally, mentally. And then, of course, the gentleman right there who mentioned about energy. Energy is so important. It's so important that it's lacking in so many individuals, unfortunately, in the United States. You see here, it says 33 million Americans complain about fatigue. 33. It seems that if I were to poll my own friends and family, that number would probably be higher. Because it seems like almost everybody at some point is complaining, geez, I'm so tired. I can't get through my day. Mentally, I'm exhausted. I mean, I'm one of them. I'm a parent of a 6-and-a-half-year-old. I've been married for a bunch of years now, about 20 years. To my lovely wife Val, and we decided to have children late, and it's, I wouldn't say at our advancing age, but at our mature ages, it's a bit more difficult to run around with a 6-and-a-half-year-old. And so I too struggle with having enough energy to get through my day, do my work, enjoy my life, do my exercise, and also tend to my son. It is the third most common health concern in the United States. That is to say, when you think of the hierarchy of complaints that most people have, especially when they go to their physicians, it is the third most complained about subject, or the area which most people want to know more about and want to see what they can do to offset their energy deficit. So I'm assuming that some of you here probably are interested in that as well, right? So the benefits of energy. Now, energy for energy's sake is no big deal. To be wired, to be running around like a gerbil in that little spinning cage is not a benefit. It's what energy provides. It's the benefits of being energetic, right? So some of these benefits include what? Vibrancy and feeling alive. The sense of when whether you wake up this way or throughout the day, if you start slow but then you pick up speed, the sense of you've got this sense of aliveness. You want to do things. You have the energy to do them. You have this vibrancy about you. And it's funny because when we get around people who have that vibrancy, we often want to be with them, don't we? Energy is very attractive to us, whether it be male or female. I like to be around people who are energetic. Not wired, but energetic. Focus and motivation is another benefit of being energetic. The ability to focus in on whatever it is you're doing. Whether it's a home project, whether it's a report you have to put together, whether it's helping your kids or grandkids with their homework, and the motivation to do it. The desire of, I've got to get stuff done today. I have a desire to get things accomplished. That whole idea comes with the benefit, as a benefit rather, of being energetic. Alertness and clarity. This is one I think most of us would probably sign up for. The ability to be alert throughout the day, to have clear thoughts, to be able to express ourselves in the way that we want to. Often I find with some of my older family members, including my mom at times, very bright lady, very active, goes to Jack LaLanne. So she's fit, she doesn't do any bad habits, but she'll sit there at the table sometimes, she comes down to visit, and she'll start talking to me and she'll stop. Because she can't remember whatever it is she's trying to remember, and she's struggling. She's like, I think I'm getting Alzheimer's. I think I'm getting, and I'm saying, no, Mom, you're too hyped up. You're trying to cram a lot of stuff in at once. Just slow down, relax. But it's this clarity of mind, I think, that all of us feel more relaxed around. I know when I have clear thoughts, when I'm able to express myself clearly, I have far less stress because I don't have to worry about the next thing that's coming up. I know it's coming, and I know it'll be okay. Another benefit of being energetic is often better mood. With energy often comes better mood. Have you ever seen an excited, depressed person?
No, I have not.
No, kind of difficult to be, right? Now you can be wired and depressed, but excited, motivated, alert, and in a good mood. Memory also often is a benefit of being energetic. Your brain works better. Circulation is improved. You're able to think clearly. You're able to remember where you left your car keys. You remember that person's face and that person's name. Isn't it like one of the worst things when you go into a gathering, especially a place you haven't been to before, or a group of people, you get introduced to somebody, and 5 minutes later, you just can't remember their name. You're like, gosh, I just don't want to go up to them and ask them. I'm going to look, like a dummy. So, the ability to remember even small little things like just a person's name. And finally, this is certainly not the entire list, but the desire and the ability to get things done. And I'm not saying things that you have to do, I mean things you get to do. The have-tos we all have to do. We all have to wash dishes, we all have to cook to some extent, we all have to take care of our family members, whether they be older or younger, but they're things we get to do, right? Whether it is that you get to go to dinner, you get to go enjoy a movie, you get to go play golf. The desire and the ability all come as a benefit of being energetic, and that's what we're here to talk about. Now, I'll tell you that this is reachable for all of us to one extent. I'm not saying that I can turn back your clock to when you were 20. I can't even go back to when I was 20. But I certainly can feel a lot better than my chronological age would tell me I should feel. And you can do that through a number of ways. Let's talk a bit about, though, what causes people to feel lethargic and fatigued. And most of this you know already. This is just sort of a recap to what you already know. First is diet. Diet, what we put in our mouths, what we eat, what we consume, is the #1 influencer of whether our health will promote health or it will promote ill health, disease. It's the #1 thing that we have control over. We talk about environmental toxins, which will be next. We talk about other conditions, infectious diseases, but the #1 thing all of us have control over, the most, of whether we're going to be healthy or not, is what we decide to eat. And here's something fascinating. I just got this the other day from doing some research in preparation of this talk. There's a Dr. Mark Hyman. He's pretty well known. He's got a couple of books. I love his work. He's an MD, but he's very holistically minded. He went down to Haiti when Haiti had its earthquake and helped out and was doing some great work down there. But he has video blogs that you can watch if you go to YouTube. Just type in his name, Mark Hyman, Dr. Mark Hyman. They'll come up for you. So I was watching one of those video blogs, and he mentions in there that the top-selling grocery items that many individuals use to help manage their energy, their stress, and their moods that are non-prescription items that you can get at any supermarket or at any store are listed right there. Caffeine, sugar, alcohol, and nicotine. Now, if you can think about that, is that a recipe for actually feeling better in the long run? Or is that just a quick fix now, and then you pay the price later? I'm going to go get my triple shot espresso at Starbucks. And by the way, I have a Starbucks card, so I have nothing against Starbucks. But I'm going to go get my triple shot espresso so I can feel better. But if I keep doing that on a regular basis, within a 2 or 3 hour period, my body rebounds back, and now my energy levels are actually tanked because of the issues that occur. The blood sugar drop, the insulin surge, and the cortisol surge. Same thing for alcohol. A little bit of alcohol, if you imbibe, not bad. A couple of glasses of wine at night probably would make that evening just right. More than that, you're starting to get yourself into trouble on a regular basis. Nicotine. I've never ever seen a study that said that nicotine, even one cigarette or half a cigarette, or the chewable kind of nicotine would be something that's beneficial. So I'm not a smoker myself, never have been. I've been lucky that way. But we know that there is no health benefit to smoking cigarettes or cigars. Now, if you want to do it because you can, because you like the taste and smell, that's up to you. Understand that that's not the way to health. And sugar. It seems like all of us are some sort of sugar holics at some point or another. I think women are more at a disadvantage because of the hormonal fluctuations that occur throughout the month. And other issues. Often we fight candida issues that we don't even know about, yeast issues that we don't know about. And when we start to get off that sugar, we go on a diet, let's say, that eliminates sugar, eliminates wheat, eliminates some of those common allergens, the body craves it even more. You go through a healing crisis and you go, I can't stand it, I can't do it. It's 3 days on this diet and I just can't do it. So you go back to the sugar and then you feel fine. Well, sugar, just like all these, are drugs. And if you consistently do that, not your occasional treat, you know, your occasional cheesecake at the Cheesecake Factory or something that your loved one prepared for you, occasional is no big deal. It's the constant stuff. It's the thing that you do every single day that would be an issue. More common energy zappers, toxins. We talked a bit about that, I alluded to it. 2.9 billion pounds dumped annually into our environment. So this comes from the pesticides that are often used in food, and in the landscaping that occurs in most of the, like I live in subdivision, they use pesticides and the like. The pollution that's either in the air or in the water. You hear now, of course, that tap water. Forever tap water has been something that people just didn't like. I grew up, I'm old enough to remember when we used to drink tap water and think that that's the only way to drink. I grew up in New York City and we would open up the faucet, get your cup and you drink your water. You never questioned why it was a little milky at times, that water, right? Or why it tasted metallically. You just drank it. And now, of course, everything is bottled water or filtered water. But you hear now that there are actually prescription medications in municipal tap water, right? You find that there are steroids in the water. You find that there are cholesterol medications in the water. And that's the nice side of it. There's more potent stuff that can really cause some issues. Chemicals, whether those chemicals be in, say, our homes. We bring in a new carpet. The old carpet is worn down, so we ask the carpet place down the street, I'd like to buy carpet to fit these 2 rooms. They come in, they put it down, and for a few days there's this smell, this off-gassing that takes place, right? They tell you, for example, when you paint, leave the windows open. Why? It's not so that you can get fresh air, it's so that the room can air out all those toxins and that outgassing that takes place. It even occurs sometimes on furniture. You ever bring home furniture and it has this smell to it, it's the varnish they use? Same thing. So we're exposed to these things all the time, and they, in turn, put a burden on your immune system, because your immune system has to deal with every single one of these things. And every time your immune system takes a hit, it's another piece of energy that's taken away, which means you have less left over to conduct your day. And then, of course, sleep habits. Insomnia affecting 30 million Americans. Pretty amazing. I don't have that issue, just by a show of hands, and that's totally volunteer here. Who here has chronic, not occasional, but chronic insomnia, say 3-4 times a week? 1, 2, 3, okay. It's pretty good for this room. Because we're talking about 30% of most Americans, 30 million, excuse me, Americans have chronic insomnia. The inability to either stay asleep or to fall asleep. And of course, that creates a whole host of other issues. Sleep apnea. It's when you literally stop breathing in the middle of the night because the airway is blocked. And if it were just that you stopped breathing and that you woke up and you did that several times a night and then you woke up in the morning groggy, not so bad, but bad enough, right? The problem is that sleep apnea is now connected to cardiovascular disease, because that 20 or 30 seconds, sometimes up to a minute of not breathing can actually cause your heart to go into atrial fibrillation, the irregular heartbeat. And that can cause issues of cardiovascular disease. Really famous football player, Reggie Smith, Green Bay Packers. Is it Reggie White? Reggie White, I'm sorry, Reggie White. Healthy man. He retired from football. He was as healthy as can be, never any bad habits, very religious individual, and I think it was somewhere around 5-6 years after his retirement, around Christmas time. He was a heavy-set dude, a pretty heavy guy. And obviously being out of football, maybe he put on a few extra pounds. He suffered from sleep apnea, and he died in his sleep of a heart attack.